Hello, everybody. My name is Jonathan Price. I am the producer here at Audio Information Network of Colorado. And on behalf of our entire staff and family, thank you so much for becoming a volunteer. We would not be where we are without you. We understand the sacrifice to put together your particular show is great, and we want to make sure we are bringing you trainings and videos and help in the best way possible so that you feel loved, that you feel like you belong here. We want to make sure that you are getting everything that you need to put forth the best episode of your particular show possible. All right, we're going to dive into this training for Audacity. Now, if you are new to Audacity, welcome. Audacity is a free open source software, and you can find their software for the downloads at audacityteam.org. So if you click on audacityteam.org, type it in, you're going to be met by this beautiful window. We have this download Audacity in the bottom left-hand corner. It is a blue button. Now, sometimes this changes. So as of Friday, October 28th, 2022, it is blue. It may change in the future. We don't know. If it does change, we'll try to get that for you. Now, the latest version is 3.2.1. So just make sure that when you download this, you're downloading it also for your proper software, which is either Mac or PC. I won't download this right now. I've already downloaded and installed it. So we're going to go through that. I'm not going to show you the install process as it is kind of long. Just follow the prompts. You'll be ready to go. When you do open it for the first time, please make sure that you kind of click through the prompts, as it will ask you certain things like if your microphone is set up, but we're going to go through that in just a second. There is another dialog window that pops up when you open this for the first time, and it's going to do a system scan, and it's going to be looking for things like plugins such as EQ, compressor, reverbs, things like that. If you do not want them in Audacity, you can click stop or cancel. That's just fine. All right, so we're going to open Audacity. As you can see, we are opened, or we're greeted with the environment window. Now, in this environment window, this big grayish blue section is where all of your audio tracks are going to be recorded. We currently have nothing, but I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. We're going to start on the top left-hand corner. I'm going to tell you some things to make sure that you have selected and not selected, which is just as important. So we have our pause button up here, and to the right of that, we have our play button. Just to the right of that is our stop button. And then we have a back to the beginning and a skip to the end. And then we have our record. And next to that is loop, which is basically just repeating the audio region that you have selected. We have some of these Audacity toolbars. We do not need these right now for what we're doing. I'm going to skip over the audio setup and save that for last. And we're not going to worry about share audio, as we're not sharing audio directly from Audacity per se. On the top right-hand side, we do have a microphone input and we have an output. So we're going to keep an eye on some of these meters as we record. Down here, right below it, you have a timeline in seconds of how long your current audio file is. So you can easily see where things may happen, or if you need to cut something out, you can do that. Down here on the bottom left, this is something that must not change. This is a 44.1 project rate or sample rate, and we don't want this to change. If you get higher, these are more for professional audio recordings. We don't need to touch these. Please keep this as the industry standard of 44.1. Over here on the bottom middle, you have your timeline, or your time clock, I guess. You have your hour, minutes, and seconds. So your 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 7 seconds, let's say. That way, if you're recording, you can see exactly how long you've been recording, and you can say, oh, cool, this particular episode of the Greeley Tribune is 20 minutes. I don't think it'll ever be that long, or it'll be shorter than that, but anyway, you get the idea. All right, so let's record some audio. Here in the audio setup, there's some things we need to make sure we have selected correctly. The first thing is the playback device. The playback device is going to be things like your headphones, your speakers, your AirPods, whatever it is that you are listening to the audio back on. So currently I have mine selected as loopback. And then in recording devices, you're going to make sure this is also selected to your dedicated microphone. AINC does require that you have a dedicated microphone for recording. So it cannot be your computer speakers, your cell phone, your headphones, your AirPods, whatever it is that you are trying to record on. Do not record on it. Please use a dedicated microphone. So you'll see your dedicated microphone here in this drop-down menu. Please make sure that that is selected accordingly. The last thing we need to check is our audio recording channels. When you open Audacity for the first time, it does default to the stereo mode. Now, when you're recording in stereo and you're recording a mono file, it will take it and split it into two different channels, so a left and a right channel. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but for our purposes, we do need to have this as a single mono recording so that we get full spectrum analysis in the left and the right channels. And so a little bit more on that later. I'm not going to dive into the science behind that, but please just make sure that it is on mono recording. All right, cool. We are set up and ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to hit the record button and record a little something for you. This is Jonathan Price with the Audio Information Network of Colorado. Thank you for joining the volunteer family at AINC. Something like that. I don't know. Okay, so that was obviously really horrible. So yeah, we're going to go through that, and we're just recording audio. It's fun. All right, so I'm going to play this back, make sure we have it collected. This is Jonathan Price with the Audio Information Network of Colorado. Thank you for joining. All right, so I just hit spacebar to pause that. You can see that we did collect that audio. We have no spikes. We have no real dips in the audio, so we're good to go there. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to export this as a MP3 file. So you're going to go up to File. You're going to come down to Export. Export as MP3. Do not be tempted to export as WAV, as OGG. We do not need these file types as they are way too big for what we're doing, especially if you're doing an hour-long show. This is going to be a massive file. Sometimes in my recordings, we have up to over 1 gigabyte worth of audio. We don't need that size. So please export to MP3. When you click on that, you're going to be greeted with this wonderful dialog menu, and we're going to title this as our test audio. Now we're going to save this to our location. So we need to make sure this is selected to your particular folder. Now, if you have a show that has multiple files or folders, please make sure this is set to the proper destination. I hate it when I record something and then I save it and I can't remember where I saved it. If I don't save it to the right place, then you get lost and frustrated, especially if you don't remember exactly how you named it. Sometimes that can be a very big detriment to you. So take that stress out. We don't need it. Next thing is file type. Again, please make sure this is MP3. Do not select any of these other overwhelming options, AIFF, WAV, FLAC, MP2, M4A, AC3. These are all file types that are dedicated for video production. So don't worry about messing with these. If you select AIF or WAV, these are going to be very large files. Again, we don't want to have large files. Please keep these as MP3s. Next up, bitrate modes. When you open Audacity again for the first time, it will default to this preset as a bitrate mode. This is, I'm not sure why they do this. This is their standard 170 to 210 kilobits per second, or set as variable. It's another form of variable. Don't select that. Keep this as a constant. We need a constant bitrate of 192. The reason is that information that's coming in from the MP3 is constant. That way we don't get huge volume spikes, we don't have dips, and we try to maintain the integrity of the audio so that it's consistent throughout. All right, so make sure that is selected as 192. Don't go any higher, don't go any less. Channel mode. Okay, so this goes back to when we were talking about the mono signal. When you have a joint stereo channel, it's going to record your mono and split it into a left and right channel. You may have more information in the left, more information in the right. It's not going to be a full true mono audio signal where you have all the information data-wise, audio-wise coming from each channel. That's why we need to force export to mono. When you do this, it ensures that we have all of the information in any given speaker, whether it be a cell phone, a single monitor, a phone. Sometimes we have people listen on the phone. And so this is going to ensure that they have the correct audio. So when you hit save, I currently have another test file here. So as I've labeled it as test, it's going to ask me to replace that. So I'm going to click save, I'm going to click replace, and that should be good to go. So when I hit my spacebar, I'm going to select this, I'm going to hit spacebar, and we should be able to preview what this audio sounds like. This is Jonathan Price with the Audio Information Network of Colorado. Thank you for joining. All right, cool. So we do have that audio. We are now ready to send it off. When you guys send it off, you are going to log into your account in the portal that you have been set up with. Either Lauren or Alex has set you up in the portal. So you make sure that you upload that to the portal, and then you should be good to go. All right, so that's really the Audacity training. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to email me, Jonathan, JONATHAN, at AINcolorado.org, or Evan, EVAN, at AINcolorado.org. All right, that's it for me. On behalf of the entire AINC staff and family, and Lauren and Alex, we thank you so much. Thank you for joining this audio training for Audacity.